message album. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. I'll give another few seconds for others to join as well. All right. Thanks again for joining. And my name is Duleep Pillai. I'm the CEO of Veltec Networks. We are a managed services provider based out of San Jose, California. And today's topic is about cybersecurity and the current buzzword, which is AI. If you talk to any people, anything technology, AI is going to come in that. I'm happy to share some of the cybersecurity tips, how cybersecurity is using AI in a good and a bad way. So we will jump right in. It's going to be a 30-minute webinar. Feel free to ask any questions in the chat. And if there are any unanswered questions, feel free to email info@veltecnetworks.com so that we can have another discussion about that. So let's jump right in. So what is cybersecurity? Probably you know that security is an integral part of today's world. Anything that relates with IT can be called as IT security, and anything that related with cyber, that is coming from the internet or to the internet, it is commonly called as cybersecurity. And today, at the end of this webinar, you are going to see how you can formulate a 30-day action plan, the 7 must-do controls, and a simple key performance indicators to prove progress. The thing is, cybersecurity is very much impacted by AI. The attackers are already automating. Our job is to automate the defense. By the end of this, you will know exactly what to turn on and in what order. Let's go why this matters right now. So attackers automate, as I said, attackers automate, and the attack volume and sophistication keep climbing because automation and kits are so cheap. There are even some attackers who sell ransomware in a kit to attackers. And that's where it all comes to. So AI helps in 3 ways. It reduces human error, it catches anomalies early, and accelerate investigation and response. So look at this, what AI security means. This is a diagram which is from NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology. This is their CSF, Cybersecurity Framework, and it basically says there are 6 elements to it. The element which is in yellow was added recently. There were only 5 in the CSF 1.0. With 2.0, they added another one, which is called govern. And what AI security means is in the prevent, training, filtering, and hardening, detect, anomaly spotting. You detect that anomaly early, and then respond. How we can copilot and how we can create guided playbooks. That's respond. And finally, govern, which is you implement all these and manage this on a regular basis. So with these pillars in mind, let's get right into a 30-day sprint to get you there. So this is a 30-day plan. In this week one, look at something basic hygiene. For example, know your MFA coverage, patch status, and email authentication mechanisms, and admin accounts. In the week two, harden the email and identity, turn on advanced phishing, filtering, safe links, and conditional access policies, and all that stuff. In week three, talk about your endpoints and backups. And in week four, what are the policies and people which you need to have? For example, AI acceptable use policy. Don't let anyone go into ChatGPT and pump your customers, your data into that, or anything like similar. And micro training and a short tabletop exercise. Now, in the for a risk snapshot, this is what is called a risk snapshot. You need to have identify the weak controls, which are them, and there are any ransomware chances to attack and data mishandling, which happens. So why AI helps here? It excels in pattern recognition across language. If it is a phishing email comes in, it can get flagged, and behaviors. Where is a user signing in? I'm right now in San Jose, and if I'm signing in from here, and all of a sudden I'm trying to sign my email from some remote countries, it is identified as it is flagged as a breach, and the endpoint activity is similar. Then focus on the highest probable endpoints. The email is most likely the cause. And then identity compromise, which is called account takeover, and the blast radius expands. In a graphical representation, this goes like this, phishing comes in, account takeover happens, ransom demand, and data breach. Sorry. Yeah. So on a baseline, what you can do, you need to run a rapid assessment, a quick assessment, and inventory what are all there, like MFA coverage, when was the computers patched, email authentication, what are your mechanisms on email authentication, DMARC, whether DMARC is enabled or DKIM is enabled, stuff like that. And admin account overview. It's very important. You need to know who are all the admins who can all administer the accounts. And most likely it is not very important to have everybody as admin. Only few people need to have admin accounts. And if there are more than one, then you need to know what is happening there. And close these gaps first. Try enabling MFA for all admins first before moving into deeper fixes like enabling for all users. And harden email with AI. You need to have some advanced tools like phishing filtering, which can also identify safe links and attachment. There is sandboxing, means send it to some particular sandbox, make sure that it is tested there before giving it to the users. Impersonation detection and quarantine. When there are some spam mail comes in, which is supposed to be coming in from a trusted party, but email says otherwise, it is impersonation. And if you can detect that, you need to quarantine those emails. So there are two AI-based tools available for that. Next is identity and MFA, conditional access. This is phishing resistant MFA for all users. What are the phishing resistant MFA mechanisms applied? There are in a short way, it is all MFAs are not phishing resistant. So phishing resistant MFA is required, like an app, not a text message, because text messages can be deceiving. And you deliberately go into the app and check for the second factor to authenticate that. And conditional access policies, which requires the certain policies to implement, which tells you that, okay, this is the computer which is authorized. This computer, anything other than this computer is risky. So stuff like that, that is conditional access. And admin credentials, you need to change the password once in a while. If there are any shared accounts, remove that immediately. Now, after the email, let's see what happens with endpoints. Endpoint detection and response, that is EDR. Old antivirus is long gone. So this is more AI-based. That is what EDR. They can detect ransomware attacks. It enables auto isolation. If it detects something, it isolates that endpoint from the rest of the network, block access to that, and that's how it works. And you pair it with a strict patch SLA for browsers and VPN clients. It gives you a pretty good protection. So what is the metric in this to watch? The patches are released occasionally by any vendor. If it's Microsoft, Apple, they send out patches. And how fast you can apply that? I would always recommend don't apply them immediately, but give it a day or two so that if there are any rollbacks, you know it in advance. So that's how the patches should be deployed. All in all, patches should be applied within 10 days, within 7 days at the most. Let's see what is backup. Backup and recovery, and verify it with AI. Verification part is very important. There is a 3-2-1 rule. 3 copies of your data, 2 different media, and 1 offsite. That is the 3-2-1 rule. And now it's modified that one of the copies of the backup should be immutable or isolated. That is not to be offsite, but within the same network, but for faster restore. But that can be used as a precaution or for faster restore. Tabletop exercise. This is very important. Spend 15 days a month, 15 minutes a month to restore a sample data. And it is very important that you need to verify that occasionally. Ransomware frequently targets backups first. So protect the encryption keys and management consoles. Data security, this is in data security, classify and least privilege. This is very important in data security. Use AI-assisted discovery for sensitive data. Where are the sensitive data like social security number, name, addresses of the employees, or bank records, or any of the other health information. where they are stored, and apply labels to those. And leak prevention, that is DLP, data leak prevention rules should be applied for those kind of data. Data leak prevention is part of the email as well. The email, nobody should be able to send an email with certain DLP, like the healthcare information or personally identifiable information. That is PII or PHI. That is very important. And make sure that the new joinees, new employees are getting only minimal access to what their work entails. Very important is coaching. Training the employees is the most important part of any of these email thing or email IT security. They are they should not be a day-long training yearly, rather a 2-minute video or 2-minute a short message to the employees is much more effective than having an annual 1-hour training or 1-day training. This short nuggets can really keep them thinking and make sure that, okay, they are getting updated. Here is another most important thing. AI tools, which I mentioned earlier. Are you using free versions of any of these AI tools? Then think about this. They are trying to make money. When you are using their free AI tools, you are the commodity there. Your information is used for them to train their model. That's how it works. You need to have an acceptable use policy for AI. What are the approved tools? What are the banned data types? And there should be some prompt guidelines. What are the prompts you can provide the AI tool? Stuff like that. And you need to have some plans for those, like single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, any of the vendor training on your data should not be approved, because if you are not paying for it, they are going to use that data for their model to be trained. So review these policies quarterly, because there are new tools coming up all the time, and you need to train your employees for that. And for AI, another one is the most important piece is the prompt, how you are prompting AI to respond. So there are two sides to it, a risky prompt and a safe prompt. Risky prompt is always something which is risky to you and your business, and employees should be trained on that. What is the most critical piece in that? A real client data, pasting it into the prompt is very risky. Always use the 4-step model for AI, which is called context. Give a context, assign a role to it, interview, let it interview you to get a better understanding of what is requirement, and finally give the task. And on a safe prompt side, it should be using masked or synthetic data, not the actual data. Excuse me. Provide a clear objective and constraints. That's what I earlier said. You should give that a context and constraints. And use logged tools, that is approved tools or paid tools. That way you can minimize the risk up to a certain extent. So let's go back to the email drill, which is fake fish exercises, which employees need to go through once in a while. What happens here is there are a lot of domain lookalikes. Where will they be able to identify those? There are some emails which I'm sure you must have seen this. There are some urgent payment language. Oh, pay it now or your account will be closed, probably from your cell phone provider. Don't fall for that. Mismatched reply to headers. So if one email is coming from one email ID and when you click on reply, it goes to a different one. So those are the kind of points which users need to be noticing when there are some email coming in. And if it is too good to be true, it is. So what happens if there is an incident? There, you need to have a tabletop exercise for this. There should be an alert. AI should triage that and humans should review. That's how it should work. And containment playbooks, you need to develop a playbook which will tell you how to handle if there is an incident. And consistent tickets. Whoever you're trusting for this, sending it to an IT department, it should be consistent and they should be notified that. And communication is very key in this. So vendor checklist. What is the vendor checklist? Buy only safe AI. That's the vendor checklist. So you should be looking for, these are the stuff. Data allocation and what is their retention policy? Training on your data opt-out. Will you be able to opt out of training when they provide anything? There are some certain certifications, SOC 2, ISO 27001, single sign-on, and RBAC, which is conditional access policies. And will they be able to log the PII, PHI, how fast what is their SLA? You report a problem, how fast they can respond. And stuff like that. Those are the things which you need to look for when you select a vendor. So map controls to common frameworks. As I mentioned earlier, NIST is a good starting point, but NIST is a very expanded one. There are other tools like CIS, Cybersecurity Alliance, and they have some frameworks which you can use. And document it once so that it is a template and you can use it for your customers. And most importantly, when you are documenting it, keep it separately marked, and only certain people can get right access to those. And these can be provided in case an audit for your insurance company if needed. So what are the metrics that matters? As I mentioned earlier, phishing should go down. People, you need to verify how many people fall for phishing scams. MFA coverage the goal should be 100%. Mean time to respond should be minimum. If there is an incident, it should be minimum. The patch SLAs, it should be less than 7 days. You need to strive for that particular metrics to go up. Almost all computers endpoints need to be patched within 7 days. So what is the 30-day action plan? We mentioned that earlier. So here is the final 30-day action plan for you. On week 1, as we said, baseline scan, fix MFA gaps, review admin accounts, and on week 2, apply an advanced email filter. DMARC should be applied if you haven't applied it already. And on week 3, the endpoint security. And week 4 is AI policy, training, and tabletop exercises. What are the things which you need to do? And on budgeting, you may think that this is costly. Yes, AI cybersecurity is not cheap, but the cost which you incur if there is an incident happens is going to be pretty high, and avoided loss is much bigger savings when you invest in this. It's like an insurance policy. You need to have that for having peace of mind. So always a question comes, what is, can we do it in-house or do we need to outsource it? There are benefits for both. If you are outsourcing it, you are getting a 24/7 monitoring security operations center. EDR tuning is very important. There are EDR need to be fine-tuned when there is some new threats coming in, and it need to be updated for threat hunting. Incident response, retainer for major events. You get a company to help you if there is an incident happening in your network. What are the benefits of keeping it in-house? You have control on all of these. Plus, you get the policy ownership and approvals. You need to do that. Access reviews and vendor selection, you need to do that rather than sending it to somebody else. And business-specific data rules also. You need to keep on top of all this. If you don't have the skills to do that, I would suggest better outsource it. This is an example case study which I thought of providing here. This is one of the clients which we started. When we started working with them, they had no MFA and weak filtering. Filtering was, they did not turn on any of the filtering and untested backups. They assumed that their backup was taken, but it was not tested. One of the funny things was one of the computers, a server computer, it was getting backed up on another drive on the same machine. And after this, what we changed was MFA everywhere. All the users had to have MFA. We applied some AI filters and backup was verified. Snapshots were taken every week and sent it to the CEO for verification. And results are fewer risky emails and faster response. So what are the common pitfalls that you see in these? AI tools without data rules. As I mentioned earlier, it is very important. You have to have the AI tool without with data rules. You need to protect your data for that. Identity and patching is drowning in alerts without workflows. These are going to be overwhelming for an internal team if you have. And very important is one and done training. This is very important. I cannot emphasize the fact that the training should be continuous. Every week there should be a small training nugget coming into your inbox. The chances of you are reading it is pretty high, and it is most likely the information you are getting is more valuable. So, in a nutshell, these are the controls which you need to do immediately. AI is there, it is here to stay, and you need to make use of it to protect yourself from the bad actors who are using AI to attack you. Thank you for watching, and if there are any questions, we are slightly over the time limit, but I'm glad to answer if you have any questions. Okay, I don't see any questions in the chat, and thank you for joining us today, and have a nice rest of the day.